Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, Your Excellency, Mr. John Dramani Mahama, former President of the Republic of Ghana, Her Ladyship, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, Justice Gertrude Tokenu, the Chief Imam, His Eminence Sheikh Osman Shaributu, the Chairman of the National Peace Council, Dr. Ernest Edu-Jenfi. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. I thank God for making it possible for us to witness this historic moment in our country's history. And here I'm referring to the signing of the Peace Pact by presidential candidates of the 2024 presidential election. Indeed, this is the day the Lord has made, and we rejoice and we are glad in it. The signing of the Peace Pact marks an important building block in our nation's development. The very act of signing the Peace Pact is symbolic in that it signals to all citizens and supporters of our presidential candidates that they are indeed committed to ensuring that Ghana remains intact before, during, and after the election. It also symbolizes that our presidential candidates have put Ghana first before their own interests and aspirations. Hence, my assertion at the start of my presentation that this is a historic moment in Ghana's development. As a commission, I'm pleased to note that we have walked the talk of peace, mindful of the fact that attaining peaceful electoral outcomes will depend on our actions. We have, right from the start of our electoral processes, consciously operated and carried out our activities and conducted ourselves in a manner that would ensure peace before, during, and after the election. In doing so, we have embraced three essential ingredients, which in our view contribute to peaceful processes and elections, namely transparency, responsiveness, and inclusiveness. And we have applied these elements in all our activities to date. And so right from the start of our electoral calendar until now, we have imbibed these three essential ingredients into everything that we do. Please permit me to mention and share a few examples. Registration of voters. Before the commencement of the voters registration exercise, we at the Commission provided extensive information about the exercise to all our stakeholders through our radio and TV advertisements. Indeed, we carried out extensive ads in the English language, 10 major outlets on all TV and radio stations across the country. This inclusive approach saw eligible voters take their turn to register at all our registration centers throughout the country. We also ensured, in the spirit of inclusiveness, that our centers were accessible to all our stakeholders. I'm happy to note that our youth, old, and persons who had not previously registered, as well as persons with disabilities, avail themselves at our various registration centers. In the spirit of transparency and accountability, we provided our political party agents with the start of day reports and the end of day reports. These reports gave them a good account of the number of persons who had been registered across the country on every given day and allowed it to confirm it with their own statistics they had documented. Additionally, we provided regular infographs on registration data to the citizenry. We shared this on our various platforms, i.e. our website, our Facebook and Instagram pages on a regular basis, making it possible for interested citizens to know with near precision the number of persons registered in the country on any given day. It allowed them to drill down to indicators including the number of male-female voters who had registered across the country on any given day. It allowed them to have information on the number of persons with disabilities, number of first-time voters, among others. Throughout the entire process, we held several press conferences and engaged actively with the citizens. We took their concerns on board and provided solutions to a number of the concerns that came up. This level of transparency and openness helped to reduce the suspicions that usually characterize the voters' registration exercise. We applied the same ingredients of transparency, responsiveness, and inclusiveness as part of our exhibition, our voters' exhibition exercise. In addition to exhibiting the physical copies of the provisional voters register in the 40,000 plus polling stations, we added a second layer of verification by exhibiting the provisional voters register online at a fee of 50 pesos per verification. In the spirit of responsiveness, when citizens raised concerns about the fee, we immediately went to work and waived the 50 pesos fee initially charged and made it possible for citizens to verify their details at no cost. This arrangement equally reduced the burdens of citizens and enabled them to verify their details in the comfort of their home. And in all of this, we received the concerns of the citizenry and were timely in responding to their concerns. Again, in the spirit of transparency, we also promptly addressed concerns raised on the provisional voters register by a section of our society. When it was impossible to or difficult to resolve those concerns, we called an IPAC meeting to discuss the concerns with all the political parties registered in Ghana. We opened up the IPAC meeting to the public and enabled them to follow the discussions on the provisional voters register. The presentations from our IT team and the ensuing discussions helped to lower the tensions and suspicions around the register and restored its credibility. By discussing the concerns in an open and transparent manner, and by carrying the citizens along as a result of the live coverage of the proceedings, tensions and suspicions around the provisional voters register were eliminated and the peace of our nation was restored. We applied again the same elements of transparency, responsiveness, and inclusion in our nomination and balloting processes. As many of you will attest to, we opened up all these processes to the general public with the help of our media partners. The opening up of these processes to the citizenry helped to eliminate the usual stories around the fixing of ballots. And we are confident that citizens are now well informed as to how the ballot positions are determined. We are aware that citizens now know that it is the political party agents themselves who pick the order in which they will appear on the ballot paper and not the Electoral Commission. The story is no different in the case of the printing of ballot papers and the results declaration forms. For the first time in our history, we took our media partners on a tour to the printing houses as part of our efforts to keep the citizens well informed. This approach brought to the fore the engagement and the involvement of the political parties in the printing process and demonstrated the accountability and transparency mechanisms we have built into our printing cycle. We educated the citizenry on the ballot statistics that we provide to the political parties, and we also informed them about the serialization process and the fact that the Commission provides serial numbers of all ballots to the political parties as part of the printing process. This openness and information shared enabled citizens to have a first-hand view of the fact that every single ballot that goes out into the field is accounted for, in the sense that political parties are aware of the serial numbers and they are able to track and account for it. The ballot statistics also provided to the political parties also enables them to know the number of ballots that each polling station should have. And this builds confidence into our processes and leads to the assurance that the Commission cannot add a single ballot or take away a single ballot to the ballots provided at the various polling centers. Ladies and gentlemen, in the same spirit of accountability and transparency, when in the course of printing our ballots, it was discovered that we had issues with the serialization of ballot papers from the Ahafo and the Volta regions, we promptly informed our key stakeholders, i.e. the political parties and the citizenry, and involved them in the destruction of the affected ballot papers. With the help of our media partners, we captured the entire processes leading to the destruction of the faulty ballots by burning and brought this information to the doorstep of citizens. Today, the destruction certificates signed by the political party agents, the security agents, and the Electoral Commission staff are available on all our platforms, our websites, and our social media pages for all to verify. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, our application of the 3 ingredients in all our operations has contributed significantly to reducing the tensions and building confidence around the Electoral Commission's processes. As a Commission, I assure you that we will continue to apply these ingredients of transparency, responsiveness, and inclusiveness in all our activities through to the election day and beyond. On behalf of the Electoral Commission of Ghana, I pledge that my team and I will continue to conduct our activities in a way and manner that will ensure peace before, during, and long after the 2024 election. The processes we will employ on election day and in the days aftermath are robust, transparent, and inclusive. The results we will declare will reflect the will of the citizens as expressed at the polls. It is a well-known fact that elections are won or lost at the polling stations. It is at the polling stations that voters vote. It is at the polling stations that the votes are counted. It is at the polling stations that the results are documented on the pink sheets and signed by all the agents of the presidential candidates. And it is at the polling stations that the outcomes of the presidential election are announced. These are the results that will be collated at the constituency, regional, and national collation centers. And it will be in the full view of the agents of the political parties who will go on to sign the various results declaration sheets. Indeed, these are the results that we at the Electoral Commission will declare, and no other results. We therefore entreat our distinguished presidential candidates to accept the outcomes of the elections. That is the will of the people, which we will declare. At the end of the day, when the results are declared by the Electoral Commission of Ghana, Ghana should remain standing as a beacon of democracy in Africa. We each have a role to play to ensure this happens. God being our helper, we at the Electoral Commission of Ghana will do everything in our power to abide by the oath that we made to God and to the people of Ghana when we were sworn into office in 2018. May God bless his beloved nation, Ghana, and make her great and strong. Thank you.
Thank you very much, EC Chair. Now we have a statement from Dr. George Kufu-Dampare, Inspector General of Police and Chairman of the National Election Security Task Force.
Excellency, the Vice President, Your Excellency, the former President, Madam Chief Justice, distinguished ladies and gentlemen at the high table, distinguished presidential candidates, the clergy, the members of the diplomatic corps, leadership of various political parties, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my colleagues from the National Election Security Task Force, friends from the media, Ghanaians across the country and beyond. I made this brief statement on behalf of the National Election Security Task Force. We want to thank the organizers for the opportunity given to us to also be part of this very historic event. And we will start by commending the political parties in general and the presidential candidates in particular, and by extension their followers and the generality of Ghanaians for how we have conducted ourselves since this election process began, making it to be less tense, minimum next to zero violence, and therefore so far what we've got into making it one of the most peaceful election processes in our history as a country. And we commend you. It's about what you have done, which has also made our work easier, and we are proud of you. But the important point is the fact that the job is not done. It is still a work in progress. And in our traditional circles, when there is food to be cooked, you cannot half cook it and start eating it. So we have eaten it in advance in terms of appreciating how far we have conducted ourselves as Ghanaians. Let us make sure that the cooking is complete, and when we are eating it, we'll eat comfortably to the glory of God and also for the benefit of the generation that will come after us. So let us finish hard by doubling our efforts, and let us continue to walk the talk, so that at the end of the day, our actions will speak louder than our words. Also, we want to, on behalf of my colleagues at the National Election Security Task Force, to give you this pledge. We are committed to ensure that we take our constitutional mandate of ensuring that there is peace, security, law, and order for the rest of the period of the election, the post-election period, and beyond. So that our beloved country, which is the only one that we can come in and out without a visa, will continue to be at peace with itself, because there is no place like home. And with this commitment, we want to let you know that we will not be, and I want to emphasize, we will not be the source or allow ourselves to be the source of any disturbances that will corrupt the peace that we cherish so much. And we also urge all the stakeholders to also play their part, so that they are also not the source or allow themselves to be the source of anything that disturbs the peace of this country. Because the country, we are holding it in trust for the next generation. As our forebears held it in trust, and with their departure, they left it in our hands to keep it in safe, in peace, for it to be handed over to the next generation. We cannot, Your Excellencies, we cannot disappoint, and we cannot disappoint them. With that said, we want to tell you that this pledge that we've made, it is not mere words. It has been very intentional and purposeful. Why do we say so? When we assume office as a team, we decided to find out what has been the issue that all the time whenever election is conducted, there are violence, there are tensions to a level that keeps all of us uncomfortable. So we decided to do a baseline analysis, and upon that analysis, we realized that there are a lot of lessons to be learned, and then going forward, that the lessons will be used to inform our strategies towards providing security during elections. The first lesson that we learned was that we have failed to mainstream election security, and therefore election security is always seen, Your Excellencies, as an event inside of the process. And by that action alone, how can you get up in the next day and do something and go to sleep and then come back again wanting to do it? We are always starting afresh as if we have not done it before. So we decided to mainstream election security with the establishment of a permanent department for purposes of managing elections in this country. And by this, I mean all elections, even including school and church elections. So that at the end of the day, election security becomes part of policing and part of security in this country. And this is what we have been able to achieve. In addition to that, realize that there was no blueprint for looking at election security holistically and strategically beyond one election. So we decided also to develop a blueprint that will take care of elections for the next 30 years to come. So as we speak, we have a blueprint in place that will deal with our elections for the next 30 years to come and beyond. And by that action alone, we are demonstrating to the whole Ghanaians and the generality of Africa and the world that we, from the security point of view, have decided by our action, by that document, looking forward for elections in the next 30 years, mainstreaming our democratic dispensation. Let you know the things we put in place with all this strategic focus into the elections. First, if you want to see the results coming out from this baseline analysis, from this mainstreaming of election security and from this holistic blueprint towards election in the next 30 years. These are the records on our watch. We have had 3 major by-elections. And we did not pass the verdict. You did. And you said that those by-elections, in terms of peace, security, and orderliness, it was first of its kind in the history of our democratic dispensation. That is the result of making sure that you re-examine your strategies and change course, because you cannot continue to do the same thing over and over and over again and expect different results. Again, Your Excellencies, with the same implementation of the blueprint, you've seen that you virtually gave all your internal elections to us, and all the political parties, with no exception, comes to us and say that it is in your hands, police and the other security agencies. We don't even want any of our internal security people to play any role. And the assurance that even we got, which gives us a lot of comfort, and also a registration of confidence in us, is that if anybody comes around and mess up, deal with him or her in accordance with law. And that we delivered. So we've walked the talk with all the by-elections, we've walked the talk with all your internal elections, and you yourselves at various fora give us the pass mark. We appreciate that, but we will not allow that also to eat the better part of us, because we know that it is a job that we need to continue doing in service of the good people of this country. Now coming to the election, the general elections. We have also been walking the talk at every stage of the election process, from EC registration, transfer of votes, exhibition of the register, and all that up to the movement of logistics. We've played the part that we're supposed to play in a manner that has also made us comfortable in terms of looking forward what is ahead. The few other issues that are left is the next 1 week, the rest of your campaign. It is our prayer that you continue to conduct ourselves in the way you have been doing, and we will also continue to provide the security that you need in ensuring that you go about telling people what you want to do when you have the opportunity to lead. In terms of the D-Day, as it was said, the blueprint, the D-Day, out of the blueprint, the D-Day planning that we've done, it spans 5,400 and over pages. A very detailed deployment strategy at the polling stations, at the collation centers, rapid response, and post-election activities in terms of the security arrangement for the investiture of the next government. So our assurance is clear. We are ready. We are very committed, but we need your help. We need your help, both in the form of prayer and also in the form of playing your role as an individual, as a political party, and as all the stakeholders involved in this process. So at the end of the day, everybody will be satisfied with the outcome of the elections, and everybody will accept the process. But we want to also assure you that the elections are having 12 candidates at the presidential level. Only one will win. The rest will have to try another time. 801 parliamentary candidates vying for a position of 276. Only 276 will win. That will not be the end of the world. In effect, those who will win and those who will lose at a point in our lives will come nowhere near those positions again, and will fade away. But Ghana will continue to be Ghana for the sake of the rest of our lives, and then the children that we so love. So we should remember this. We want to plead with you. We are overcommitted to make sure that at the end of the day, we will be given the pass mark again. This time higher than all what we have achieved with all the examples that I have cited but we want you also to do your very best at the individual level, at the party level, and at any other stakeholder level, so that your contribution and my contribution put together will make us strong and continue to be the trailblazer for the rest of Africa and beyond. Don't let Ghana fade away, because when Ghana fade away, we fade away with it. But let us do our best and fade away, because life is a stage, and when we show up at the stage, at a point, we have to give way so that the next generation will follow and Ghana will continue, so that we will have said in history that we did not disappoint. Your Excellency, once again, my colleagues from the National Election Security Task Force want to assure the generality of Ghanaians that they should relax, and I mean relax, and be a Ghanaian and a full Ghanaian and be proud of yourself. That this one, it will be better than all the elections that has passed, if only you help us to play our role as we are doing, and also do yours. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Our officials are committed to doing their part. They are asking for our support to make sure everything goes well. We have to relax. All right. It's time now to hear from the NDC and NPP presidential candidates. And I'm going to call first on His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, former President of the Republic of Ghana and presidential candidate of the National Democratic Congress.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Mahamudu, Bawumia, the Chief Justice, Her Ladyship, Justice Gertrude Tokonu, the Chairman of the National Peace Council, Reverend Dr. Ernest MP, and allow me to proceed on the protocol that has been well established in order to save time. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and fellow citizens, I've come here today to place on record my personal commitment and that of my party, the National Democratic Congress, to the sustenance of Ghana's peace. At the very outset, let me indicate that we in the NDC remain eternally committed to the building of a peaceful and prosperous country in which the aspirations of all our people can be met. Our active participation in this event is an indication of its importance in the overall effort to guarantee peace and ensure the preservation of our nation in the aftermath of the upcoming elections. We cannot emphasize enough the importance of maintaining peace throughout this process, before, during, and after. Peace is the foundation upon which our democracy is built, and it is essential that we preserve it even during these critical times. We're all too aware of the devastating consequences of electoral violence in other countries. We cannot afford to traverse that same path. As patriotic citizens, we have a collective responsibility to ensure that our country remains a beacon of peace and stability in our sub-region, and we in the NDC stand prepared to play our part to achieve this. As citizens, we must recognize that our actions have consequences. While some verbal jousting is to be expected in our really politicking. Divisive language, hate speech, and inflammatory rhetoric that can incite violence should have no place. Temperance, tolerance, understanding, and respect for one another's opinions and beliefs should be the guiding principle upon which our politics is practiced. On our part, as political leaders, we must prioritize peace and unity in our campaigns and avoid unsubstantiated allegations and focus on issue-based campaigning. We must compete on ideas and not on insults. To our security agencies, I commend you for your tireless efforts in maintaining law and order. And I urge you to remain impartial and professional in your duties, ensuring that all citizens can exercise their right to vote without fear or intimidation. To our media practitioners, I encourage you to promote balanced and accurate reporting, and we must avoid misleading the electorate by deceiving them that some parties are going to vote on one day and others are going to vote on another day. We must avoid sensationalism and speculation and focus on providing credible information that promotes peace and understanding. I also wish to commend the Electoral Commission for the cooperation we have enjoyed so far, and it is my hope that all electoral officers will conduct themselves in a manner that is impartial and neutral in order to avoid any disputes. However, it is all well and good for us to commit to peace and recite beautiful platitudes. All the efforts at building peace before, during, and after the 2024 elections would come to naught or be undermined if there is mistrust and insincerity. Mistrust is built through a mismatch between words and gaslighting on the part of those in authority. There is reason to be concerned that the signing of this pact, though well-intentioned, could amount to nothing if it is not followed by concrete actions to guarantee the peace by the stakeholders and government. Events and happenings during the last election and during the Awaso West Wogon by-election create considerable doubts about the genuineness of some of the commitments that we might make today. We all recall the appalling spectacle of masked men acting on the orders of operatives of government, shooting indiscriminately at innocent Ghanaians going about their legitimate electoral activity during that by-election. Some of the victims of that shooting incident remain incapacitated as of now. The refusal by government to act on the recommendations of the committee do not inspire confidence in Ghanaians that government truly believes in peace. Again, the inaction of government in the face of the murder of 8 of our citizens during the last election casts a shadow of doubt on government's commitment to maintain the peace. How are we to believe that such killings will not reoccur during this election as well? There also remains the vexed question of the use of thugs dressed in security service uniforms to intimidate and brutalize citizens during elections. How can we tell these thugs from the professional members of the security services, especially when they carry no-name tags and they conceal their faces with facial masks, popularly called Azubu masks? I'll suggest to the IGP to instruct the arrest and detention of any such persons during the election and to be kept until the election is over. These are legitimate questions that must satisfactorily be accounted for to give true meaning to this peace pact, lest it remains just a piece of paper. We in the NDC have in the recent past expressed the above reservations, and we look forward to hearing conclusively on the steps taken to address these. In conclusion, let us all pledge to promote peace during these elections. Let us work together to create an environment that is conducive for free, fair, and peaceful elections. We owe it to ourselves, to our children and future generations to preserve the peace and stability that our dear country Ghana has enjoyed for so long. God bless our homeland Ghana. I thank you.
Thank you for your remarks, former President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Now I would like to call on His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, Vice President of the Republic of Ghana and presidential candidate of the new Patriotic Party.
Thank you very much. Eminent clergy, the National Chief Imam Sheikh Dr. Osman Nuhu Sharbatu, His Excellency the former President John Dramani Mahama, Her Ladyship Justice Gertrude Araba Esabasaki Tokono, His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Ibn Chambers, African Union High Representative for Silencing Guns, Mrs. Jean Adukwe Mensah, Chair of the Electoral Commission, presidential candidates here present, the Reverend Ernest Edugyenfi, Board Chairman of the National Peace Council, Mr. George Amon, Executive Secretary of the National Peace Council, Dr. Emmanuel Akweti, Executive Director of IDEG, Dr. George Akufo-Dampare, the IGP, Your Excellencies, Membership Corps, Nime, Name, Nananum, traditional rulers, distinguished invited guests, friends of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Since the dawn of the Fourth Republic in the early 90s, Ghana has been a model democracy and an inspiration to many across the African continent and beyond. This feat is not by chance. It is due to the continuous efforts of our leaders, institutions, and citizens who understand the value of peace as the bedrock of national progress. In this light, it is fitting for us to show appreciation to the National Peace Council, the Institute of Democratic Governance, IDEG, and all who worked tirelessly to ensure we are here today. As we acknowledge the efforts of others, we must also endeavor to contribute our due. That is why the signing of the 2024 Presidential Peace Pact is profoundly significant. Every general election in Ghana since 1992 has had its own dynamics, and the stakes are always high. But we have never turned our backs on democracy, because that is the path we have chosen for ourselves, and it is the right way to go. Admittedly, democracy goes beyond periodic elections. However, in relatively young democracies like ours, every election presents an opportunity to reaffirm our commitment to the Constitution and the rule of law. So far, each time we head to the polls, we have passed the test. We have shown that it is possible to rise above our differences and unite for the sake of our country. As we head into the December 2024 polls, the 9th presidential election in Ghana, 9 days from today, I am certain of two outcomes. Ghana will win and peace will reign. We have been here before and can prove again that Ghana is a shining example of a resilient democracy. As we approach the home stretch for the elections 2024, my plea to everybody involved in the electioneering process, including candidates, political parties, electoral officers, voters, the media, security, and the general public, is to take responsibility for ensuring peace and harmony seriously, and to demonstrate that we are not reluctant Democrats. My hope, and that of the MPP, is that we will come out of this election stronger as a nation. We are hopeful all sides will take some positive steps to preserve the unity, peace, and stability of this country. We owe our people, particularly the teeming youth, that duty of care. Only in this way would our resolve to create better and enduring opportunities for this future and for the future generations be guaranteed. The eyes of the world are on Ghana. The world is watching, hoping Ghana will rise again to the occasion, stand tall and shine bright as the star of Africa. I am full of hope that all of us leaders and our followers will live up to the peace pact we are going to sign today. And I encourage the security services who are doing an excellent job, and the media and all stakeholders to do all they can to ensure and preserve the peace. I would like to end by emphasizing that the only reason we seek power is to use it to deliver prosperity to the people of this country. I therefore wholeheartedly pledge my commitment to working within the rules and to collaborate with all to ensure a peaceful election. I extend love to all my opponents and invite them to let us collectively show love to the people of Ghana by embracing civil and peaceful approaches during every phase of the electioneering process. Finally, I would like to share this quote from Mahatma Gandhi, and I quote, "The day the power of love overrules the love for power, the world will know peace." I stand for peace and development. Peace is possible. Thank you for your attention. God bless you, and God bless our homeland Ghana.
proceed, I would like to acknowledge some dignitaries. We have the British High Commissioner. Thank you, Madam, for being here. The U.S. Embassy is also here. Thank you, sir. The Korean Embassy. Embassy of Peru. The Dean of the Diplomatic Corps. Thank you. Australian High Commission. The Royal Netherlands Embassy. The Danish Embassy. The European Delegation in Ghana. The Japanese Embassy. USAID. IRI, NDI. ECOWAS Embassy in Ghana. Catholic Relief Services. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for making time to come to this very important ceremony. We appreciate your presence. Thank you so much. The UN Resident Representative Coordinator. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here. All right. On this note, we are almost at the highlight of the event. But before we can proceed, I need to invite the Chief Justice, Gertrude Araba Issa Basaki Tokunu, to make her remarks.
Your Excellency, Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia, Vice President of the Republic of Ghana and flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party. Your Excellency, Mr. John Dramani Mahama, former President of the Republic of Ghana and flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress. May I humbly acknowledge all distinguished presidential candidates herein present. Your Excellency Dr. Mohammed Ibn Chambers, Reverend Dr. Ernest Edujemfi, Chairman of the National Peace Council, and all distinguished persons herein present. I wish to express the appreciation of the Judiciary and the Judicial Service of Ghana to the conveners of this significant meeting for the extraordinary vision and efforts made to seal the peaceful conduct and completion of the 2024 elections with a commitment to peaceful resolution of all issues arising from the said elections through the signing of this Presidential Elections Peace Pact 2024. By operation of Chapter 11 of the 1992 Constitution, the Judiciary carries the constitutional obligation to administer the tenets of justice articulated by the good people of Ghana through the sources of law established under Chapter 4 of the 1992 Constitution. In order to effectively discharge this mandate within the context of national elections, the Chief Justices of this country have led the Judiciary to take 4 significant steps since 2008. First, the Judiciary has a standing Elections Management Committee led by Supreme Court Justices to prepare a one-stop compendium on the procedural rules that must be followed in the conduct of election-related disputes. Jurisprudence on principles and edicts established in Ghana's unique common law and all relevant statutes that guide the process of elections. This compendium is referred to as the Elections Manual. Second, the Elections Management Committee and the Judicial Training Institute carry the responsibility of conducting orientation and in-depth training for all magistrates and judges across the country to ensure adequate preparation for adjudication of election-related disputes. Third, through the Rules of Court Committee set up pursuant to Article 157 of the 1992 Constitution, the rules used by all levels of court are regularly reviewed for the incorporation and amendment of provisions that will enhance more efficient resolution of electoral disputes. Fourth, the doors of the judiciary are thrown open for consultation with all stakeholders in the conduct of peaceful elections, and their views are given critical consideration and factored into the development of each edition of the Elections Manual, the orientation and training of magistrates and judges, and the review of the rules of court. By the grace of God, stakeholders have used judicial systems countrywide to settle electoral disputes, including 2 presidential election disputes, signifying the cohesion of the nation around the work of the justice sector. In the past 2 years, the Judiciary and Judicial Service have meticulously gone through the 4-tiered approach to preparation for elections, and the 5th edition of the Elections Manual has been enhanced into a 3-volume guide to give it even broader content and make it more user-friendly. This 3-volume election manual was successfully launched and distributed to stakeholders present on 31st October 2024. This afternoon, there are many copies available here. I stand here to assure all stakeholders, including the international community, that the judiciary is extremely alert to the high stakes for national cohesion and stability invoked by competitive elections. We are therefore guided by every principle of national interest to give high priority to the resolution of disputes that can affect the stability of the democratic process. We note that by operation of law, conventions of diplomacy, and social adherence, the signatories of the Presidential Elections Peace Pact 2024 have not only expressed their leadership commitment to the peace and stability of Ghana, but have given a binding and irrevocable undertaking that becomes the standard for national collaboration around their efforts to win the mandate of the electorate in this year's election. The Judiciary of Ghana is grateful for the gallant certification contained in the Presidential Elections Peace Pact 2024. I wish to assure all political parties that to the best of the ability of the justice sector and within the requisite constitutional directions, substantive rules on any electoral offense or dispute, the rules of court, and the laws of evidence, the Judiciary and Judicial Service of Ghana will administer all processes of dispute management with efficiency and effectiveness and discharge our constitutional obligation to the good people of Ghana. Through these assurances, we express our utmost utmost accountability to the national peace effort. Thank you very much.
Before we proceed to the highlight of the day, I would like to acknowledge the High Commissioner of Canada in Ghana. Thank you very much. All right, so now this is how we will proceed. I'm going to be calling on the presidential candidates to come up to sign the pact. I will proceed with the two. Oh, please be patient, sir. I had very good news for you. Sir, be patient. I had news for you. Because the two candidates have already spoken, they will come and sign, after which I will call the other candidates. When they come in, they speak and then give their commitment before signing. They will speak. You will have a chance to speak.
When it does so, share a year 2024 election peace pact signing no Kempinski and no ewo enkanya na empenifo de ahiemu ehwe ase nyame eyadoma 7 December abato na ye babeto eda ye new year no asundue ebetimi abeye oman kronkron amagana dia.
The presidential candidates who have spoken, they will come and sign without speaking again. Then we will call the other presidential candidates to come, speak, and then sign. That was the program. Yes. All right. So we proceed. I would first like to invite the Chief Justice to come help us administer the signing of the Peace Pact.
Enti abusuya de adusuo no ayese mpanimfo ini ahiemu titru Yewura John Dramani Mahama mampenin dada onu tu franka de amachinye amanyoko hijobodo NDC se omomra na omomambe sign one Yewura the Vice President of Republic of Ghana Yewura Alhaji Dr. Bawumia na omomrambe sign asundwe nenu achi no na presidential candidate a eka ho no omonso aba sign peace pact no na bibia timi edemunti di odi kan no ye maami Chief Justice ono ana edi kan aba sign presidential peace pact.
All right, I have been prevailed upon to agree to your suggestion to speak first before everybody comes to sign. All right. On that note, if you look at our program on page 12, you have all the candidates there. I'm going to be asking for you to come up to speak in the order that you have been presented. So I would like to start with Dr. Daniel Augustus Latte Jr., of the Great Consolidated Popular Party, GCPP.
Abusiana de Koso CCN no presidential candidate na omonso eka Peace Park no ho so person monso omokasa di kan no yewura mampani dada John Dramani Mahama wotu franka de amachi amanyuku di kan ba bekasa enomu bi owura Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia no tu franka de ama osono amanyuku New Patriotic Party no MPP abekasa enti afoforo no nso kiremu se omunyina nso eka bato no ho enti pam no twa no ensese abato no ekoye nipa mienu pe omunyina nso kasa bia eyeye enti CCA no ekwan no ebia ma other presidential candidate no mfancheme omonso emekasa na ntiawom ha mpanifu kiremu se yenye ntiawom na ebre no eniho na signing no into me enkoso yentie.
John Dramani Mahama, former President of Ghana and the flag bearer and the presidential candidate for the NDC. All protocols observed. You are looking either to be President of Ghana. And I'm here to tell you I'll do a good job. And a better job than that. Because you're all going to be domesticated when you leave here. I want to hear your voice. This country is ours. We love it. We want peace. I give regard to the IGP. I give regard also to the Electoral Commissioner. We're all here to make Ghana a better place, a lively place, and a happy place. Let's build this country. Let's be domesticated. And I repeat it, you are all domesticated today. You are looking at your new man. This country is going to change. I thank you so much.
To speak is Mr. Hassan Abdullahi Ayariga, All People's Congress.
If you stop me, I will stop. Good evening to everyone. I think I have less than 2 minutes. If I want to introduce the high table, I won't be able to speak at all. Let me stand on the existing protocol to say all protocol observed. First of all, we are supposed to be 13 of us, and today we are 12. One of us is gone. So soon we have forgotten about that candidate. It happens to be a 1 week ceremony. So if we could all observe 1 minute silence, just honor Madame Bekuya Yanko. Please, 1 minute silence. We are here to talk about peace, equity, there's no sincerity, there's no fairness, there can be peace. There's no justice, there can be peace. So if we are here to talk about peace and we behave in a certain way, then you can imagine the kind of signal we are sending out there. And that is why I was not happy with the presentation. But then the sincerity of the matter is that I come from Boku. My father is a Kusasi, my mother is a Mampusi. For the past 3 years, Boku has been in war. Till date, as I speak to you, the shooting all over. My father and mother fight. And we have ignored that. We are here talking about peace. I wish we had a forum like this to talk about Boku's matter and help resolve the issue of Boku's challenges. I don't know whether I'll be able to vote, because where I come from every day is gunshot. I've not been to Boku for the past 3 months, and I want to go and vote. I want to go and campaign, and I cannot. So it's one of the biggest problems confronting me as a flag bearer, and as a father, and as a member, and as a Ghanaian. And I'm appealing that if we can look into the Boku matter, it will help us achieve peace before, during, and after the election. If you look at the table, the high table, the 3 major political leaders contesting: former President Mahama, current Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, Hassan Ayerga, we are all Northerners. I'm coming to the main problem. There is a problem. Please, my time is, don't worry about my time. You see, Northerners, as our brothers and sisters, are always being reported to be the violent people in this country. And as a matter of fact, if you see another Northerner crying, then he's been beaten by another Northerner and nobody else. And they have been used to form some kind of vigilante groups. This is a test for us as people from the North. Are we going to demonstrate, the 3 leaders, our members, are we going to demonstrate a level of tolerance, level of acceptance, that we have ideas than fighting one another? Or are we going to show the world that we are more violent than any other thing? So our party members should sit up that this year we have to demonstrate to the world that the Northern brothers are together and united no matter what. And we cannot be seen as tagged for any political party. We cannot be seen as troublemakers in this country. We cannot be seen as people who do not understand peace. And we must demonstrate peace before, during, and after this election. And I must admit, IGP is doing a lot of work, and we must all help. To the media, if you allow me, I'll finish quickly. To the media, to the police, to the Electoral Commission, we need a credible election. We need a free and fair election. To the police, we do not want anybody to be partisan in this election.
when you are posted at the polling station, be fair to every Ghanaian, no matter which party he belongs to or comes from. And to the media, try as much as possible. Misinformation and disinformation is costing our country a lot. And we must all have a role in making sure that this country is peaceful before, during, and after the election. Ghana will win, and we will have a peaceful country. I think.
All right. So after making your remarks, you quickly go and sign. We have right now at the table His Excellency, former President John Dramani Mahama signing the pact.
Abusiana the edusu no peace pact signing no ana edusu a yewura mampeninda da John Dramani Mahama utu franka de ama chinye amanyoku NDC ono ana sign peace pact na wedi kan akotenase na o sign ahwese December 7 fabatu a yeba beto edeye nimi ya no de bebe bia no asundie ebeba de bebe bia na as a result bi ebebe bia no obeji atum na pepepe yo ene asundue de aye oman kronkron amagana ne ya yewura John Dramani Mahama utu franka de ama chinye amanyoku anasisiye osan.
Ayariga is also signing now.
The edusu no Dr. Hassan Ayariga ono itu franka de ama APC.
For sign, please.
The Eduni Susi Ghana Mampeni Abediachi Dr. Alaj Mahmoud Bawumia onon so sign peace pact no ahwese nyame aduma 7 December about one results be bebe piano obe accept na asundue ambeye o man kronkron magana dia.
Sign will be Daniel Augustus Latte Jr.
That's great.
Awusia wanu weni daso a wo hwe live telecast de free Kempinski wo Enkraha Kempinski Hotel ni nyina no election 2024 national and as a presidential peace pact no ana weni daso a wo hwe ampanifo presidential candidate mofa encheme ana edaso sensan peace pact senia asundue bitimi awie peria yede hwama ne bono de ebro but yenko ye chika krebi ebra Dr. Hassan Ayariga kasa no ana se ne kasem no ana o kire se sisi akura no yem hyehye no so mpo so betumi ato aba ne bia na so ntumi ento aba ne bi kura mpo a onim efise entokwa ayi ne ti ewo northern part of Ghana no ne yem hyehye ne pa enti yenhwe nyankopon anim ene bonsamatiko na abatu a yeba betui ye masundue emra yenhwe ma amambi ti se USA omoto aba yante wa enti yenhwe omo ni nsuomo na ye ma abatu ya yeba betui ye ma asundue emra na bibia entumi enwie peyo na ne kasemu no yewura Dr. Hassan Ayariga kasemu no kire se asen kamya kwa say ye wura fi presidential candidate a friend Mame Ekuadonko no no Mame ofiri mu fi ye no enkamya kwa say obi ayidin wo ho nti Hassan ayarega chiribu say ye mama no erenfi no na ye ma bibia no entumi enwi peyo nti de ekoso sisiye.
The vice presidential candidate for Reverend Christian Kobina Andrews. I'm here to represent him. Our country, Ghana, has been with peace for so many years. We have been on elections several times. And when we talk of Ghana, our country is jealous for peace in our outside countries. We have done it before. And I will urge each and every Ghanaian to let us do it one more time. Together we stand, divided we fall. The Ghana Union movement, we stand for peace. We call for peace. And may peace prevail. And in the end, may Ghana win. Thank you very much. My name, Eleanor Efe Apia. Thank you.
Enti de okasa sisiye no representative edema gum osofu chirabosom Ghana Union Movement no so ne kasa ebre yen ewo National Presidential Peace Pact sign no ase.
So we'll have to allow him to go ahead. Thank you, sir, for coming and for signing the pact.
Yes, Madam. Madam has signed. Yes. Christian Kobina Andrews. Yes. Party of Ghana.
Good evening. The name is Kofi Apanu, the next president of Ghana. I stand on existing protocol. This election, we are all calling for peace. There can never be peace in this country when we keep on doing what we are doing, promoting duopoly. We have to promote multi-party democracy, not duopoly or whatever you guys are doing, because it will never bring peace. The media is doing it. The Peace Council is also doing it. So how are we going to have a multi-party democracy when you discriminate in the full glare of the public? This is not right, what you did. when we all go out and vote for Kofi Akpaloo and forget about MPP and NDC. Because when you vote for any of them, it will not bring peace. The only person that when you cast your vote on, that will bring peace is Kofi Akpaloo. God bless you all.
Thank you. Next on the list is Alhaji Mohammed Frimpong of the National Democratic Party.
Enti yewura Kofi Akpaloo anono so yete ne nka no so kasem na ochire mu se de eye MPP ni NDC ye didi omho atem no enya de a ede asundue ebeba de betumi ama asundue ede aba ewo man kronkron amaga na mu ne se omanga na ni nyina no yebeto aba no ede ama ono Kofi Akpaloo na obidi oman kronkron amaga na ni ma oprehwe na asundue aba enti otu Ghana fofo echero mo se abatu no yenko na yenkoto aba no emfama ono Kofi Akpaloo.
My name is Alhaji Mohammed Frimpong, the presidential candidate for National Democratic Party, that's the people's leader. We in Ghana must appreciate our relative peace and security, because out there in the global arena there are a lot of blazing fires. And we are fortunate to have here His Excellency Dr. Ibn Chambers. I think he will agree with me that we now even have a fatigue of dousing those fires. And interventions are also very difficult to come by. What I must say is that we as presidential candidates, as a matter of fact, must go to the people who are the wielders of sovereignty and power of the nation. The people don't owe us anything except that we go to them and request and canvass for the mandate that we are seeking. It is one good that at least we don't risk the lives, or better still, put the lives of our electorate in danger. They must not be on tenterhooks because we are going to them to seek their power. That is very important. Going forward, we must understand that apart from the leaders and the inclusive and participatory leadership that NDP is advocating, if that does not work, every electoral cycle will be having the same tension. That's why that must be what we call wheels of democracy, making sure that we give power to our people at the unit level and in our communities, so they exercise their power, and in an election we go to them and seek their mandate. In that way, we will not be twisting their arms and taking their mandate. It is one political party's goal, twisting the arms of the electorate to seek power. That is what is creating the tension. Definitely NDP committed to peace, and we will want to seek enduring peace for the nation. Thank you very much.
I would like to acknowledge the president of GJA. All right, thank you. Next to come up to give her remarks is Nana Akosia from Poma Sapon Kuma Convention People's Party.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. This is clearly, in 2012, I was part of the people that signed the peace pact. I'm here in 2024, and I just want to reiterate what I said years back. The Ghanaian is peaceful. The Ghanaian youth is peaceful. The Ghanaian woman is peaceful. All of us are a very peaceful nation, and we are very proud of that. What I have seen today, for me, is just to reiterate the fact that the Ghanaian will be peaceful. Multi-party democracy is about election, and by extension, what it means is that there is going to be people wanting to do whatever they have to do to win power. What is necessary is the institutions that have been put in place to ensure that there's fairness and there's justice. But that is eroded. No amount of peace pact will make any difference. What happened here today, I'm sorry to say, is not acceptable. Currently, I'm standing here talking on the ticket of Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of this country, who has made it possible for all of us as the Convention People's Party, who has made it possible for us to become a sovereign state, to be able to be signing peace pact because we have fought for independence and we're moving forward. And for that reason, it is very important that when we do anything in a multi-party democracy, it must be different. And for that reason, we should not be so biased and obviously biased to the point where people must agitate. It is agitation that does not bring peace. So on this note, let me tell the police officers, the security officers, and everybody that's going to be part of this election going forward. We, the candidates and the political parties, we would wish that you cheat for us. We would wish that you do what you have to do for us. We would wish that you put us as number one and ignore others. Do what you know is right. Do what you know is right, so that there will be justice. And when there's justice and fairness, all of us will embrace the results of this election. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. I would like to acknowledge the President of the Ghana Association. Thank you for being here. Next, to give his remarks is Mr. Kofi Kranten, Independent Candidate.
Peace I bring you were the words of the Savior Jesus Christ. We're talking about peace here today. And that is a great thing we look at. We, the Youth New Vision Movement and the team of Kofi Kranten embrace peace. However, we believe that peace can not only be considered in terms of outside motivation, but internal peace is the driving force. So we cannot talk about peace when people sleep outside. We cannot talk about peace when people are hungry. We cannot talk about peace when thousands of our youths complete school, cannot get jobs and walk the street aimlessly. We cannot talk about peace when citizens cannot wake up each morning not looking up to anything. Going into this election, we
we always have it in our heart that we become to lead people. And for that matter, if you become a leader and everybody dies, who calls you a leader? Who would you serve? And so, as we seek to get power to lead this country, we must bear it in mind that our words, our thoughts, and our deeds actually spell out what we're looking out for. We cannot do things the same way and expect, different results. Let's embrace peace. And this peace is what New Vision Movement and the team of Kofi Kranti speaks to Ghanaians. That let's do what is expected of us as Ghanaians and embrace this peace, do everything that in support of peace. We stand for peace. And at the end of the day, Ghana will win and all of us will be happy. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next is Mr. George Chumbarima Edu, independent candidate.
I'll stand on all existing protocols for time's sake. My name is George Chum. I stand on all the existing protocols. My name is George Chum Berima Edu. I also thank the organizers of this event, the Peace Council and IDEG. And I'm here because I believe that as a country, indeed, we must have peace. This is the only country which we have, and there is no other country we can go to when we spoil or destroy our country. Also, I want to urge all Ghanaians to support the efforts of the Electoral Commission and the Ghana Police and all the security agencies in the work they are doing to ensure that now to election day, we shall all act peacefully and act well. And on election day also, we shall obey all the rules of the elections and go and vote peacefully. And after that, go to our homes as the results are coming in. And it is my belief that to the glory of God, we shall all be guided in the way we want to vote, and the outcome shall bring glory to God, and Ghana shall be the winner and the ultimate winner. I thank you all again, and may God bless our homeland, Ghana.
Thank you, sir. Next is Mr. Nana Kwame Bediako, independent candidate.
Thank you. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. I am Charles Yemaka, the Chief Administrator of Nana Kwame Bediako. Elections are not just about choosing leaders, they are about safeguarding the foundation of our democracy and the unity of our nation. As representatives of our various political parties, we bear the responsibility to uphold peace, integrity, and the will of the people above all else. Let us remember that Ghana's greatness lies in our unity, not our divisions, in our shared values, not our differences. To our fellow politicians and supporters, let us commit to an honest process, free of violence, free of intimidation, and free of deceit. Let us debate ideas and policies, but never forget that our shared goal is the progress of Ghana. To the people of Ghana, we urge you to exercise your democratic rights with courage and conviction, knowing that your voice and your votes matter. Choose peace over conflicts, dialogue over confrontation, and truth over falsehood. Always choose Ghana first. Let us leave a legacy for the next generation. Not of discord, but of unity. Not of corruption, but of and not of fear, but of hope. Together, let us reaffirm the spirit of Ghana, the black star of Africa. May peace guide our actions, honesty shape our journey, and may democracy prevail in its truest form. And in Reswaba, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Last on the list, but not least, is Mr. Alan John Kojo Trematin, independent candidate.
Obviously, I'm not Honorable Alan Chematin. I am Nana Ohininto, Senior Advisor to Honorable Alan John Chematin, who is the independent candidate moving by the Movement for Change and the Alliance for Revolutionary Change. I want to thank organizers, the Peace Council, and all the stakeholders for this very important convocation. The issue is peace, specifically related on this occasion to 2024 December 7 elections, before, during, and after. I've had to represent Honorable Alan Chematin on one or two platforms relating to the subject of peace, and I have his mandate and total commitment to communicate to you his unequivocal and unconditional commitment to peace before, during, and after the election. Those who know Honorable Alan Chematin in Ghana politics would attest that any time the occasion had demanded that he make sacrifices in the supreme interest of his former party, the NPP, or the nation, he has always done so. So his message to us here is that commitment to peace is not a matter of signing a piece of paper, which is good. But commitment to peace ought to be demonstrated in the things, not just what we say, but what we do. Obviously, the record is there that this is about the fourth time we are signing a peace treaty in the Fourth Republic connected to elections. But we cannot forget some of the incidents that have already been relayed to us relating to violence and a breach of the peace. In that connection, Alan wants to state that we are all responsible for our peace, but there are specific individuals and agencies that bear greater responsibility, and we don't have to overlook that. First is the government. Second is the security services. Third, the Electoral Commission. And fourth, the media, of course, all of us. Alan would want us to plead with the state agencies, and I've mentioned some of them, that during the election in particular and on election day, The IGP and the Security Task Force have outlined the security protocols. But we have seen protocols like this outlined, announced, but government agencies, government representatives on election day will seek to subvert and to undermine those protocols. Peace, of course, is predicated on justice and fairness. Our land is committed to peace, but we call on the key stakeholders, the frontline stakeholders, to also, according to the assurance that we have received from the IGP, to perform their roles and functions to the satisfaction of all, not to the advantage of the state incumbent party, as sometimes happens. To that extent, I want to reiterate Honorable Alan John Martin and his movement for change and the Alliance for Revolutionary Change are absolutely and totally committed to the peace of our nation before, during, and after this election. I thank you.
Thank you, sir. And so we've come to the end of the signing of the Presidential Elections Peace Pact 2020, with the last signature going on there. The witnesses, okay. The witnesses, IGP Dampare, if you would please present yourself to witness the signing. Next witness is the Executive Director of IDEG, Ms. Dr. Emmanuel Owakwete. The last witness is Chairman of the National Peace Council, Reverend Dr. Ernest Edugenti. Madam Chief Justice, thank you so much. Please, let's clap. We are most grateful to all the presidential candidates and their representatives who have signed the pact, and also to the witnesses who have made this possible. We are very grateful for this opportunity to be here today to witness this great event. Thank you all so very much. In the interest Yes, I have an announcement. Those present should be ready to pick the election manuals. They are available for you to pick. So thank you very much. At this point, yes, there is an announcement that the manual comes as a set of 3. So make sure you have all 3 when you pick yours up. I would like to invite right now. Yes, so the manuals, the election manuals in distributed, they come as a set of 3. So make sure you have all 3. Thank you so much.
Abusia enchebia na yede dwumedie ni nyina ebeba na wieye senemdi kan ekan ye no wani edaso a wo hwe eye election peace pact signing no 2024 no ana edaso a ekoso ewo Kempinski Hotel ewo enkan aha
Silencing the guns to deliver a closing address.
Thank you very much. I will also stand on the protocols very well established, but allow me to recognize her leadership on the high table, the presidential candidates here with us, the chairman and board members, National Peace Council, the Electoral Commissioner, the IGP, members of the diplomatic corps, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am indeed grateful for the opportunity to deliver the closing remarks at this solemn and august signing ceremony. They say success has many parents. It has taking the collaborative efforts of many stakeholders to make today's event happen. But allow me to pay deserved tribute to the National Peace Council and in particular its chairman, Reverend Dr. Ernest Ebijemfi, and its executive secretary, Mr. George Amu, and to IDEG, in particular its executive director, Dr. Emmanuel Akwete, for their resilience, persistence, and unrelenting efforts. Their shuttle diplomacy among government authorities, political parties, many of whom are here have been acknowledged, the UN, the EU, religious and traditional leaders to make it happen. As a matter of fact, some of us were getting skeptical, even perpetual optimists like myself, but they insisted it had to happen, and here we are, it has happened. The signing of the Peace Pact has become one of the good practices in its viable electoral process. It is a symbolic gesture by the presidential candidate with profound impact across the length and breadth of the country. It has become also a document that is at the same time an undertaking, a commitment by the leaders of the political parties and independent candidates to uphold the lofty principles of fair play, eschewing violence, allowing the electoral process to proceed uninterrupted, and adhering to the rule of law in resolving any disputes that may arise from the elections. It is also a platform for delivering a strong, clear, unambiguous, and powerful message to their party faithful, to followers of candidates and the population at large, that there is no place for violence in democratic elections, no place for guns, cutlasses, knives, stone throwing, or beatings in the elections. When the heads of state of Africa adopted the Silencing the Guns initiative, they saw through it to build an Africa at peace with itself and with the rest of the world. They were also desirous of bequeathing to present and future generations a peaceful continent which would put conflicts behind it to focus on urgent issues of underdevelopment, poverty, inequalities, and the pressing and existential challenges of our time. Across the continent, one of the triggers of conflict has been poorly conducted elections. In this regard, and we have heard so many people reiterate it, Ghana has stood out as a shining example, and several sister countries have over the years picked up many best practices of election management systems, technology, innovation, processes and procedures from here. Previous speakers have eloquently spoken about the shared and common responsibility of all stakeholders to ensure credible, open, participative, inclusive elections, whose results no one can have justifiable cause to reject. That is the pathway to peaceful elections. But let me emphasize that with just 9 days to the elections of December 7th, the weight of the burden has shifted to the Electoral Commission, to the Ghana Police Service,
and supporting security agencies, party and other political activists, the media, and the judiciary. There can be no complacency. Ghana's past successes are no guarantee or assurance of current or future performance. Of course, we have been very much reassured from what we have heard from the IG and from the Electoral Commissioner, and indeed from her ladyship. Nothing should be taken for granted. There should be no room for complacency. The EC must operate transparently to allay the concerns of its critics or skeptics. Security agencies must rise up to high professional standards, be neutral in their operations, and act decisively against those who seek to disrupt the process without selectivity, fear, or favor. The media, especially social media, must avoid misinformation, disinformation, character assassination, fake news, rumors, etc. The judiciary is expected to ensure accountability and to deliver justice impartially and timelessly. Come to play here. Justice must not only be done, but it must be seen to be done. And justice delayed is justice denied. And party leaders and other political operatives or activists must avoid hate speech and actions likely to incite their followers to violence. In 2020, Ghana's otherwise exemplary electoral record suffered a blemish with some deaths in a few constituencies. Once again, the opportunity is presented to prove that Ghana's leadership role on the continent is deserved, that Ghana can deliver violence-free, credible elections. Already, the eyes of the world are on Ghana. Sub-regional, African, international observers have already arrived for the elections. And I can see many familiar faces among the ECOWAS delegations, the African Union delegations, the Commonwealth delegations, and some of the other observers who are already here. We have, of course, the new ECOWAS ambassador who is here. The UN doesn't observe elections, but the RC will assure you that the special representative of West Africa and Sahel will be here. And so we'll have the international community here to accompany us. Let them go back and report about the peaceful, non-violent, exemplary elections they would have observed in Ghana. And here, let me just say that I'm also pleased that the Electoral Commission has been discussing with media to allow them more access at constituency level, so that with their eagle eyes, everyone can see that things are being done in the open, transparently, and without anything to hide. But I want to end on a personal note, and of course I will crave the indulgence of my sister, Nana Akosua, the presidential candidate of CPP, who I know quite well. But I know particularly well Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia and former President John Dramani Mahama. And believe me when I tell you that Ghana is blessed to have these two as candidates of the two leading major political parties, the ruling MPP and the opposition NDC. And I say this because I think the candidates will also agree that when we talk of there may be troubles, the idea or the thinking is always that it's likely to come from there. But these are two gentlemen, par excellence in their upbringing and their natural disposition, who would not want any Ghanaian to lose his or her life or spill blood for their victory. I would like to thank all the candidates for giving similar pledges, for the patience they have shown, for their participation in today's ceremony, and their pledges to peaceful elections. So let us all live here committed and determined to ensure peaceful elections, non-violence and justice, the theme of today's Peace Pact signing ceremony. And I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir. Another round of applause, please. Before I proceed, I would like to make another set of acknowledgements. We have with us the chairman of the Christian Council of Ghana. Thank you, sir. Then we have the General Secretary of the Christian Council of Ghana. Thank you. Vice President of the Pentecostal and Charismatic Council. And immediate past presiding bishop of the Methodist Church. Thank you all so very much for being here. At this point, I would like to invite who was in the Western region arrived at 2 a.m. this morning because of this event, and has another trip immediately. I think his flight was about 5 p.m. and that was why he had to leave earlier. We want to express our thanks to the presidential candidates. Some of them were on their campaign trail, and yet they took time off to join us today. We are indeed very, very grateful to all of you for coming. We also want to thank her ladyship, Chief Justice, for her time with us and how we have worried her. At very short notice, she is ready to open her door for us to go and meet with her. And we are so grateful to her. His Excellency in Chambers, who arrived this morning and also leaving again tomorrow, all because of this event. And you notice how people make sacrifices for this country. We are indeed very, very, very grateful. The chairperson of the Electoral Commission, the IGP, talking frequently and trying to make sure that things are done the way it ought to be done. Sir, we are indeed very grateful for making it to be with us. And members of the security agencies, members of the diplomatic corps, we are indeed very, very grateful to all of you, and especially for your support and sponsorship. We want to acknowledge the European Union, the USAID, the United Nations, the British High Commission, the Netherlands Embassy, the Catholic Relief Services, and the International Republican Institute. These are institutions
within the diplomatic community who have been behind us and helping us to make sure that things are done the way it has been done. I got a call this morning from two of our media houses asking, Chairman, are you sure this event is coming on? I said, it's coming on. Said, are you sure? With all the things we've heard, I said, well, it's coming on. Said, okay, we will come and see. Now we have come to see. And I keep telling them that the work of the Peace Council is not to trumpet anything. It takes patience, it takes time, it takes diplomacy. And therefore, sometimes we appeal to the media, be patient with us. When you don't know what is going on, just be patient. Gradually, we'll pull it through. We are grateful to the members of the board who were here last week. Some of them had to travel, go back to their positions and come back last night. Some of them came this morning. We are indeed grateful, members of the Peace Council board, for helping us. Let me also acknowledge the ministers and former ministers who were here, members of parliament, eminent members of the clergy, both Islamic, Christian, traditional, who have come to support us. We're grateful to all of you for making time to be with us. Then also our distinguished election observers, those who've left their country to be here. Some have been here for some time now. Others are coming. In the coming week, we'll be seeing a lot more of them. We are indeed grateful. We also want to express our thanks to the political parties. As the candidates came, they had also their entourage with them. We're grateful to all of you for making the sacrifice to be here. And to our media houses, we are grateful. Indeed, when we began, we selected a few. Others called and said, why have you selected a few? We also want to be here. And we are grateful that you have come. And many of you have given us free airtime to broadcast this program to the rest of the country. We want to say a big thank you to all of you. And ladies and gentlemen, we want to say a big thank you to everyone. The Norwegian Embassy, the Ghana Police Band, and all of you who made this program a success. We are indeed grateful. I want to acknowledge the staff of the National Peace Council. It's been a hectic job. Some of them were on the field doing peace pacts in the constituencies. Some arrived last night, others this morning. There are also some others who are on the field now doing other peace pacts in various constituencies. We are indeed grateful for the sacrifices that you are making for this country to be as peaceful as possible. May the Lord bless all of you for making time for Mother Ghana. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Before I call for the closing prayer, I have just a short word to say on behalf of the regular people of Ghana. Dear President, I know you are not here, but we look forward to seeing you join your predecessors to leave a legacy of contributing to the success of the Fourth Republic. All Ghanaians, my fellow Ghanaians, please resist the temptation to engage in any act of violence. Use your thumbprint, not violence, to decide the outcome of the elections. Political parties, please respect the will of the people. And then whoever wins the elections, in the interest of advancing our country, Ghana, I plead with you to take research seriously. Invest hugely in research, particularly science and engineering research. That's how we make progress. On that note, thank you so much. I would like to invite Maulvi Mohammed bin Saleh, head of Ahmadiyya Mission and member of the governing board of the National Peace Council, to give us the closing prayer.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Most gracious, ever-loving,
Lord of mercy, you've been with us and seen us to the end of this wonderful experience. For this reason, we need to extol your beauties. We need to sing your praises. And we need to thank you for your presence with us today. Almighty Allah, you are sovereign. It is you who gives sovereignty to whomsoever you deem fit for it. It also takes you to take away sovereignty from whosoever is not deserving of it. Almighty Allah, you are peace. You are the embodiment of peace. Peace emerges from you. It is you who grants peace to the whole of mankind. We therefore pray for peace. We pray for peace for our country. We pray for peace for posterity. We pray for peace during our electioneering up to the elections, the voting day. And we pray that you grant us a peaceful voting on the 7th of December. We pray you grant us a peaceful counting of the votes cast. We also pray you to grant us a very peaceful announcement and declaration of the results of the elections. We pray you bless and protect the Electoral Commissioner and all her lieutenants throughout the country. Grant them the highest order of patriotism, integrity, and wisdom to be able to steer to safety this ship of our country through troubled waters. We equally praise you and we pray you bless all who have found their way here to participate in this epoch-making function. We pray you, most gracious God and Lord of mercy, that you bless and protect all the ladies and the gentlemen who have presented themselves as presidential candidates, hopefuls of this country. We pray you protect the Ghana Police Service. We pray you protect and bless the people of Ghana, so that at the end of the day, we would have every reason to be grateful to you that you've been with us from the beginning and you've seen us also to the end of it all. We ask all this in your own name. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi 'alayhim waladdallin. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. At this point, we've come to the end of our program, and I'm happy to invite the Ghana Police Band to give us the national anthem. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
Please,